Welcome, District 101 Toastmasters. My name is Parthiv, and I'm super excited to welcome you to a fantastic, great event session with Los Gatos Toastmasters Club. Before I introduce these fantastic officers, let me tell you a little bit about great events. Great events are an opportunity for our district to showcase talent, exceptionalism, and wonderful people who have something to share. In the past, we've had individuals sharing tips on how to bring calm to your life. We've had a presenter on AI, and we've had someone provide speech tips. So today, I'm excited to introduce a club that is well positioned for success. They are a President's Distinguished Club, and this year, I imagine, will be a Smedley Distinguished Club. And they're going to talk a little bit about how they're so successful, how they continue to be President's Distinguished and above. And let me go ahead and welcome them. Uh, I'll start with Natalie, our president, and then happy to then introduce Chris, VPE, VJ, our vice president membership, Sonia, vice president public relations, Tom, our secretary, and Isaac. So, Natalie, why don't you go ahead and kick off with a little introduction about yourself and if you have anything cool you want to share.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Bandel. I am the current president of Los Gatos Toastmasters Club. This is my second term as the president, and I joined this club about a year and a half ago as a person who didn't do a lot of public speaking and needed help and support in this area. A little bit about myself. I have three kids, and also in addition to that, I work as a software engineer for NVIDIA. I use AI a lot, and I'm really excited about that. I try to see how we can use that to help our club. What I am focused on in our club mostly is to maintain the welcoming atmosphere for guests and for members, and basically to help everyone feel comfortable and feel welcome. That's it a little bit about myself.
Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate the introduction. Chris?
Parthiv, thank you for hosting the event. Great. It's a great honor to be here with all the other Toastmasters and those that will see this recording and event in the future. Chris Janetti, been a member of the Los Gatos Toastmasters and Toastmasters overall for about 6 years. I knew that I needed a little bit more help when I was kicking off a client event. I work in financial services. I used to manage the Charles Schwab office in Los Gatos, had a team of advisors, and we kicked off a 30-person event. I got a little nervous, got a little tight in the chest, got a little uncomfortable. And I said to myself, well, that's not really me. And that didn't feel right. So I dedicated my Tuesdays going forward to going to a place where I could practice, have a sandbox, have a supportive environment, build a community around personal and professional improvement. And that has led me to be pretty consistent with Toastmasters and Los Gatos Toastmasters. Every Tuesday, 6:30, we're there. Try to make as many meetings as possible. And Tom and I actually started together about 6 years ago. We were the new kids on the block. And, Toastmasters and members come and go, and that's okay, right? But eventually you continue to grow that core group of members and individuals who really want to be there for the right reasons. And for some, it's just a thought, and it's just something they want to do initially, but they lose momentum. Others say, hey, this is the way I can invest in myself personally and professionally. I have two small children, 6 and 3, two girls, and I aspire to have them be confident and outspoken individuals as well in the future, being able to use this amazing as talent, talent and a superpower, as Tom has done a speech on it before in the past, that speaking and public speaking and doing it well and eloquently is actually a superpower that everyone actually can possess if you put enough work into it. On the flip side, I'm also a financial advisor and a speaker and educator now on the NVIDIA campus. I work with Charles Schwab, and we're the stock plan administrator for that, the largest company in the world now. So it's a great honor to be there, be a representative for my company to NVIDIA, and to also be an enthusiast of AI and tech and everything that's happening in the Silicon Valley. So with that, I'll pass it over to VJ.
Hey everyone, this is Vijay. I have been part of this club since mid 2024. Um, I knew I had to work on my communication skills and English, since English is my fourth or fifth language, depending on how you count. But I realized and learned about Toastmaster when I moved to the Bay Area in 2010. And since then, I have tried different clubs, but then I had a long gap and finally settled in this club. I visited multiple clubs, and first meeting I attended here, I just knew this was the club for me, and that's it. I After first meeting, I became member, and then I was voluntold to take on treasurer role that I did for one term, and this is my third term for VP membership. And I am pretty excited and lucky to work with this great team. I think the difference I find comparing my experience in different club and also in offices, I think the kind of energy this group brings is amazing, and I think it helps us all perform to the best of our abilities. I work in IT industry for 27, 28 years now. I started as an architect engineer, used to work in FedEx in Memphis. Um, have been in cybersecurity for last 16 years and in product management. Um, what else? And I had my startup. I have two kids. Both are going to college. What else? Yeah, and something interesting about me, I live near Cupertino and I play volleyball and pickleball. So if you're around, you want to play, please let me know.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Vijay.
And
Appreciate it.
I pass it to Tom.
Thank you, VJ. It's great to be here tonight. Our officers have been looking forward to this evening for a while, and it's so nice to finally have the event occur. I'm Tom Bartesi. I'm current secretary of Los Gatos Toastmasters. Like Chris, I've been a member of this club for a little more than 6 years. I joined because my nephew, about 6.5 years ago, asked me to officiate at his wedding. And at that time, I had a tremendous fear of public speaking. And although I committed to officiate at his wedding, inside, I was trying to figure out excuses that I would be able to avoid doing that. But the very next week after he invited me, I joined Los Gatos Toastmasters as a guest, came for a few times, knew that this was going to be a platform that would allow me to get in the practice that I would need to feel confident when the big day came for the wedding. Fortunately, I came every week to Toastmasters, even during COVID. And when the big event came, I did a great job. I really enjoyed it. No nerves, no anything. And since then, I've officiated at a second wedding. I'm scheduled to officiate at a third wedding in July for one of our club members. I've spoken at two celebrations of life. I've appeared before a judge as a character reference to speak on behalf of a friend. I've participated in club contests, and these are all opportunities that I chose to do voluntarily. I wasn't voluntold, I wasn't forced, and they were all opportunities that I would have definitely shied away from prior to joining Toastmasters. And today I can't envision any stage being too big for me. I lean into those opportunities as they come along, all thanks to not just Toastmasters, but to the dynamic and engaging club that we've created, that we push each other, we're there for each other, we support each other, and that makes all the difference. Professionally, I've been an attorney for more than 40 years, business attorney. And something interesting about me, I like to surf. Someone my size, I'm 6 feet 7 inches tall. You don't see that many tall surfers out there. When I get up on the board and I'm coming down the line, most people get out of the way, which is nice. And the other interesting thing about me is I'm currently a struggling stand-up comedian. My goal this year is to attend at least one open mic night at a comedy club. That's one of my goals. And with the support and money from all the members of District 101, my goal is to become a struggling professional stand-up comedian. And with that, I will pass the baton on to Sonia. Sonia, the mic's all yours.
Hi. Hi there. So my name is Sonia Lopez, and Parti, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for giving this club the opportunity to show and shine because it really is a wonderful club. I was very fortunate to find the club about a year ago, and when I first joined, honestly, I was terrified, which I'm sure a lot of people start off that way. But this club is so warm and so inviting. I think it's one of the really wonderful aspects about it. And so I decided to stay. And then shortly afterwards, there came an opportunity for an officer opening, and I offered myself. I don't even know how that happened, but I did. And Tom uh, guided me towards the VPPR position, which was an absolute fit for me. One of my goals as a VPPR is to, well, first of all, it was to bring a little bit more cohesiveness into their social media, but it is to really try to show the all of the stars of the club, the members, and as far as many of the things that we do, is the words of the day, etc., just to try to show them the public what it is that we do. One of the things that I do, I am a Pilates instructor. I have my own business, and we had actually just celebrated our 25-year anniversary, which I'm very excited about. And that is part of the whole entire idea of, for me to do the public speaking, is because I want to be able to come out of my shell, even after 25 years, to be able to use that, especially on the platforms that we use, so that it's not just pictures, but also representing my own business, which I think is very important. An interesting thing about me, and that a lot of people don't know, is that I was a competitive ballroom dancer for 16 years prior to Dancing with the Stars. But so there we are. And now I will pass the baton on to Isaac.
Hi, everybody. My name's Isaac Delgado, and I'm the Sergeant at Arms. And I definitely feel like the most unqualified person to be on this panel. I am I am the newest officer, as well as one of the newest members. So I joined early October of last year. So just crossed my 6-month term here with Toastmasters at Los Gatos. And I wanted to join Toastmasters because as I gotten older, I started realizing just how important relationships are and just how great it is to be connected with a community and be able to just talk with people. So I love people, but at the same time, I'm afraid of people. So I'm trying to bridge that gap and just be able to connect with as many people as I can. And professionally, I'm a software engineer, so I'm also trying to leverage these communication skills that I'm getting in my profession to move up and try and get into management and yeah, just keep moving up in that way. And I became the sergeant at arms because Tom told me so, and so I do whatever Tom tells me to do. And so I became the sergeant at arms, and it's been a great experience. I got to see, I was intimidated to come to the Toastmasters the very first day. I was so nervous, and everyone speaks so great. But I definitely quickly realized just how accepting everybody is and how supportive everybody is. And so I've definitely grown so much in the past 6 months, especially being the sergeant at arms since the beginning of January. So an interesting thing about me is I grew up in South Texas, in San Antonio, so I'm a huge San Antonio Spurs fan. So there's that.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. And listening to your stories, it's wonderful hearing more about you. And I think these are the things that really connect us to each other And what makes Toastmasters so refreshing and so wonderful is hearing all your backgrounds. I'm amazed at all the things that you're able to do, managing family and work and personal hobbies, and still being able to do Toastmasters effectively. And Chris, I was going to say, looking, how wonderful would it be for your daughters to become Toastmasters in about maybe a little more than a decade?
It will be. And I was going through we had a celebration of life on a side note of my grandfather, and we went through some great pictures of him back in the 40s and 50s when he was peak engineering career. And I said, "What is this one?" to my aunt, and she says, "Oh, that was his Toastmasters headshot." So I did a speech on that, and I thought that was a great full circle moment. And he'd probably be proud of the stories and the ways that we're using that special talent and how we're creating a loving and supportive environment for many others to thrive in as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. Keeping it in the family, generation after generation. I have been in Toastmasters since 2007, so I've obviously seen the value for close to 19 years. And so I know how much it is to get in the practice of speaking and meeting so many wonderful people. I do want to talk a little bit about your club and how you've been successful as we've come out of this post-COVID period where people are like, looking to get back in person. Talk a little bit about how that works in your club. And I know you have a hybrid format where you still allow people to come in online, but perhaps you can talk a little bit about that hybrid format where people want to come in person and listen to speakers. Maybe Isaac, as Sergeant at Arms, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you
Yeah.
set up the room and how that
Uh,
works.
yeah. Like I said, I'm fairly new. So as I came in, I started learning what the Sergeant at Arms does. I'm probably the laziest Sergeant at Arms. So I help out with the banner. I'm starting to help out a little bit more with like the tablecloth and the what do you call the podium thing. But Chris handles the hybrid like laptop with the Zoom link and everything. So I'm starting to pick up a little bit more and more, and we also make sure to bring in the chairs. And we see who's all coming into the meeting if we need more chairs. That kind of general stuff. So I can't really speak too much on the Zoom link part.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I can add a little context there. The
Mhm.
backstory is we all lived through, unfortunately, COVID era together. And pre-COVID, we met in person. We were in the Chamber of Commerce of Los Gatos downtown. And then that became, I'm getting a little echo here, maybe from Arlene, I'm not sure. And then we were able to go hybrid because we didn't want to lose the magic of what we had, but we weren't able to get together. And then during the period where people wanted to start to get together and were a little more risk on and others were more risk averse in terms of gatherings, we developed our own policies with masking and in person, but also hybrid. And so that was a necessity at the time. And then we said, well, this is an interesting format. Why do we need to go away from it? Why not make our club as accessible as anything by offering both routes at both times? So we found a venue where we had a big screen TV. We invested a little bit of money into a stand, a nice high def camera. We could stream it directly from the Zoom meeting to a computer. And what happened is that we also realized that members like to see the recordings of their speeches. And so what we do is we just take the Zoom recording, we upload it to YouTube and make it an unlisted link. And then every meeting we can send out to our members, unlisted, non-public, the recording. And so it serves as a record, and it also serves as a way for guests to drop in. We have a lot of guests that drop in once or twice, and then they show up in person. We have a lot of guests that like to be purely virtual. But once they see what's happening in the room, once they see that we have 15, 20 people in the room, they want to be there with us, and they pick up on the energy and what we're doing. So that's the backstory about why we're hybrid, why we kept it. I mean, could we drop it one day? Sure, but it's like closing your door to your house and not leaving it cracked open and letting people kind of peer in and say like, "Oh, what are you guys up to? Oh, it seems like you're having some laughs in there. Seems like you're sharing some great stories. What are you guys all about? When can I show up next time?" Right?
Yeah, I'm going to share some thank you, Natalie, for sharing some pictures. I'm going to share a couple pictures of your room setup so clubs may get an idea of what works. I think that TV screen definitely helps in the background, gives people an opportunity, like the speaker can see someone who's logged into Zoom as well. And I love the room setup, that very long conference table. It allows that sort of intimate conversation, but it also allows you to see the speaker well. So hopefully you all get a chance to see the setup. And I love the fact that the room is full. So it means you're doing a great job attracting members and guests to come into the room. So those of you listening in, come go check out Los Gatos Toastmasters every Tuesday, 6:30 to 7:45 at the Office Evolution. Yeah, this is a question for Natalie. Natalie being the president, how do you keep the officers engaged, and how do you encourage members to step into the role, perhaps the next term?
So if we're talking about the officers' roles for future terms, there is a challenge sometimes. Not every member is ready to step into a role for different reasons. Some people are not coming frequently enough. Others are not ready for these responsibilities. Some are very new members. But what, from my not that long experience, but what I have seen in my year and a half in this club, what I see that this fit starts not at the point where you need urgently to find those people. You need to start looking for the fit in advance. And I think that's a very important point where you don't just come and let a person know and tomorrow you're gonna start being Sergeant of Arms. Well, maybe with Isaac. But we're lucky to have Isaac and stepping in. But I'm sure that a person needs some kind of mental preparation before that. So the officers, the current officers, try to see and get some feeling of who would be a good fit for a specific role, how that person feels about stepping in a couple of months, giving that person enough time to think about it, giving the person enough time to maybe shadow the duties and the activities of the other officer. So to summarize that, I think that most importantly is not to come in the last moment to prepare for that, to think about potential people that would work, and to prepare those people to have several conversations with those people in advance and see how they feel about it. Also, if they don't like the idea, for some reason they are not ready for that, it is okay, and you have enough time to think about other person, to invest, to go and look for someone else. So this is the way we try to do that from what I have seen so far. And yes, some people serve several terms in their roles in our club. And I think it is okay. It is very important also to not rotate all the officers at the same time. You want people to have consistency and to have some main group of people that knows how to run the club, and to add each time a few new people that would learn during that time. So I think that's how we operate.
Yeah, great, wonderful. And I love how you talked about, thinking of this as a long-term thing, not just the day of elections, we need to start picking people to step into roles, but asking members now to perhaps shadow an officer or something that they might be interested in. And so you're creating a very well-structured succession planning, right? Thinking of these roles as a more of a long-term thing. Yeah, I also wanted to point out what I really liked was, hey, it's okay if someone is not ready for a role or doesn't want to do it, because especially in a club like yours with what is it, 45 members now, like you have enough people to work with to find the right individual for the right role. So great. Speaking of
And I see
membership,
Tom wants to add something.
Yeah.
I think
As a
Tom's got
person who
something.
served all the roles
yeah,
Mhm.
please.
more than one time.
Yeah, one thing I would add to Natalie's comments, and I'm currently secretary, but like Chris, I've served all the club roles, and I can remember the first time I was asked to be a club officer. All of a sudden, you think it's going to be this big responsibility, and you're worried, and it's going to take too much time, and so forth. So when we recruit our officers now, we try to assure them that A, this is not a huge time commitment. B, that the resources are there to support them. Former officers, we have great systems in place. And C, if life gets in the way along your term, it's no big deal. If you have to bow out, someone else can fill the role easily. So it's not a lifetime commitment, totally flexible. Our officers meet once a month after a club meeting, and we all know what our responsibilities are, and we go forward with those responsibilities, knowing that the other officers have our back. And if we have to go out of town, work gets in the way, family obligations, and so forth, we all work together to pick up the slack. And I think that's helpful for recruiting new officers, is just letting them know you're not alone, it's not scary, it's not going to be this huge time commitment. So I think that's part of the equation for seeking new officers.
Great. Yeah, and it
And
sets a great expectation. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
let me just add two things too. I think you also got to think about what is the motivation for that person, right? Like obviously don't make it a scary thing to take on an officer role. But also they could be the sort of individual who's there for professional development, and they are not yet at that next manager or director level, but want to act as if they have a team that they have to persuade and guide without employing them, right? So that's the reason to be an officer or area director in many levels up. There's also the other thing that's very personal. They may feel that the club has given them so much growth and opportunity that they feel an obligation, such as back to the family analogy, right? Hey, there's an obligation for you to kind of pick up your plate now and start to kind of put it in and, load the dishwasher and kind of contribute to the operations of the club, and maybe even sprinkle in a little bit of what they would like it to be in the future too, and help to shape the future vision and state of the club. And I think that's so there's two different ways to bring it up with individuals. Like for Isaac, for example, intelligent, brilliant, young software engineer, ambitious. His father was CEO of different hospitals in the past. He doesn't talk too much about that. He's a Trojan, right? He went to University of Southern California, right? Humble person. Yep. But I said, hey, having the opportunity to be the sergeant of arms, actually, he says he's one of the most least qualified, but every week he amazes us with a different theme. He puts in the work into what is he going to bring up and how is he going to open up the club. And he makes us laugh and he makes us smile, and he sets the tone for that meeting, which I don't think any of our sergeant of arms in the past have done. So kudos to Isaac for making that role a very interesting and dynamic role, and being able to be spotlighted in the very beginning to kick us off. I mean, that means the world every meeting. So thank you, Isaac.
Did he give you a proper introduction, Isaac? Did he say all the right things?
Yeah, you could add a little bit more.
By the way, I'm a Bruin, so we're mortal enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, Tom went to UCLA as well.
Yeah, I'm a Bruin as well, Partiv. So yeah, we've outnumbered Isaac tonight.
Yeah.
But I can
please go ahead.
I can echo exactly what they're describing from my experience of being picked out to be the sergeant at arms. First, Tom promised me some crypto, but I still haven't gotten it yet. That was the first
this semester crypto.
Yeah. But Secondly, yeah, he did present it like it's not that big of a commitment, and kind of easing me into it, and also as an opportunity, though. Being able to just open the meeting is a little nerve-wracking for me, but I think it expedited my experience. It's getting me a lot more comfortable way quicker, and I don't know what they saw in me to take on that challenge, but I really appreciate it, and it's been great so far. It's been a great experience. Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I do want to talk about membership because I think many clubs struggle with getting people in the door, and your club is doing fantastic, right? Getting 40 plus members. So this is for Vijay and Sonia. And Sonia, you could talk a little bit about, how you use social media, Instagram, or other channels to get people through the door. But I'd love to hear a little bit about the membership process, Vijay, and how do you get guests excited and coming to the meeting?
Sonia, you want to start?
Uh, sure. So the when I first got the position of the VPPR, the same thing Tom says, like, don't worry about it. You don't have to do a lot of work, and and that for me was a signal of like, okay, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the website. Let's take a look at their Instagram, their Facebook. I wanted to first of all create a little bit of cohesiveness in that. I do have a little bit of experience. No, I'm not an expert by any means, but it is something that I do enjoy. And in doing that, I wanted to create I wanted people to really see what the club was doing. And what I do, and I don't know if this is right or if it could be done differently, but I like to show the speakers when they're speaking, and I do like to highlight their like fantastic moments when they're using their hands, when they're being very expressive. But I don't use what they're speaking. I don't use their voice or their speech. I overlay it with music. I try to create a little bit of entertainment. I definitely use their stories on Instagram. And in order to make the work not as difficult, I share it with their Facebook page. I don't create two different social medias. I know that is probably the more optimal way to do it, but it is a lot more work. And so, in order to try to get both their Facebook and their Instagram, and I primarily work with their Instagram, uh, that is where I start with Instagram and then share over to their Facebook page. And now, one of the interesting things that we've been finding out with everything with AI is that we're actually getting members, and I think that VJ can speak more about this, but we're getting members that are finding us through ChatGPT as well. So my next job is going to be to try to get their website a little bit more of their the language that is in there that is going to be draw more people in from ChatGPT. So I have to do a little bit of research on that. So I do think that anyone that is going to be taking on this role, maybe consider that just a little bit, because we are entering a different era as far as social media is concerned and how people find us. So yes, they do find us through the social media, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, but now they're also searching through the Google, right? But they're also going straight to ChatGPT or other AI. I don't even know what they're really called. Modules, servers.
LLMs.
LLMs. Yeah.
Thank you. Those.
Yeah.
And so, and another thing I have to say is that I've had a really good fortune that VJ and I tend to speak a little bit of the same language. And so it's been really helpful because we were updating the website together, because he has that professional eye and I have the knowledge of how to go in and actually do the changes. So I try hopefully to speak to the customer, to the person that is seeking the public speaking. I try to use the language in the comment section, and so yeah, then we try to do our best there. And I think that VJ can probably speak a little bit more than on
Yeah,
PVC as well.
absolutely. Thank you, Sonia. And that's why I asked Sonia to explain first, because she has the hardest job here when trying to get members to the club. She's doing PR activities through social media, and maybe that's why we ended up in some LLMs, because they are consuming all the social media. Plus the events that you organize, Sonia, amazing work last time we did. So I think once Sonia brings a prospect inside the club or introduces to the club, I think we work like a team, all of us. And I need to admit, I have the easiest job, because all I have to do is bring them and tell them that, hey, become member, and then bring it to club. But then I think heavy lifting is done by, I think Chris, VP of Education. He has to always work with them very closely on their understanding what their goals are, and how to achieve them, which pathways to sign up, and introduce, helping them with even the systems that we have. We use Trello here. So Trello system, and Chris recorded some videos to onboard our new members. That's amazing, actually. It's frictionless. And then Tom, I think Tom is really good at spotting who is good at what and who is ready for what. Not just for officers, when he picks officer because he knows that it aligns with this person's or member's objectives, and this member is ready, but also for the roles for the meeting. And I think I did many of my roles. I was volunteered by Chris and Tom, and I think many of us here. So it's a teamwork. I think we have a great chemistry as a team, and we focus on the experience of that member, starting from prospect to guest to becoming a member and throughout membership. I think that's our secret sauce here.
Oh, I have to add something to that, VJ. I don't think that you give yourself enough credit, because honestly, I look at your emails and talk about systems. VJ has created these emails that are, starting from the time that they come in and visit. He has a set of emails that he sends out. And I think that that is so, so important if it would be for any business, but that includes the Toastmasters clubs. You have to have systems from the time the person comes in to the time they sign up, and even thereafter. And VJ he's a wizard at that. He's great.
I had no choice. That's how I understand things. Yeah. I grew up in chaos and I had to make sense of it. So anywhere I go, I had to put some language the way I understand it. I think it creates problems sometimes for others, but they tolerate me really good. So
I think you're also making it easier. You're making it easier for people down the line to step into a system.
Yeah. I would add a couple of things. One is that before we had VJ and Sonia just rocking their roles in an amazing fashion, we had to automate things, right? So people like to get responses quickly. So what's the quickest response? That's you email an alias to a club, and then it auto replies back to them. And it gives you the welcome message, a general one, plus also, okay, here, join us at this Zoom and or this location. This is our next meeting. It never changes. Then we would have people just do that. They would also sign up for our MailChimp mailer, and we would used to send out, we've kind of reached a lot of members, but we have about 450 members on that list, and they would get weekly shout outs from us, reminding them of the meeting and what the theme is. So we're top of mind. And then people say, I saw your emails a lot too, so I decided to come in. Right. So once they reach out, the other thing too that we do is once they show up virtually or in person, Natalie and Tom and Isaac and everyone are really good about just acknowledging guests. Okay, we have 3 guests tonight. We celebrate, we clap, come up to the front, tell us your name. How did you hear about us? What are you looking to accomplish? What is their why? And give them a little taste of what it's like to get their feet wet in front of, a new group of people, and to show them that we clap when they go up, we clap when they leave, we celebrate their courage. And then we also say, there's no pressure. We would like you to join as a guest and be with us for 2 to 3 times. And if you think it's a good fit for you, if you think it's a good culture fit and you like the energy, then sign up. That's fine. We're not trying to strong arm anyone to be a member. We're not making it awkward. We want people that are going to join our club that actually want to be there. And that leads to lower attrition and higher satisfaction rates. And more people also eventually want to become members and progress through it. And then when I say, and then you can't just say, hey, you signed the contract, right? You're done. Like, that's the worst sales process ever. The sale really starts, as they say, after you've signed up and you paid your dues. That's when the sale starts, because you have to say, okay, what's next? They're excited. Let's keep up the momentum. Let's show them our platforms. Let's show them pathways. Let's how to pick one. Let's show them what we expect. It's optional to do pathways. We all do pathways. This is where you access and choose a pathway. This is Basecamp. This is, if you have problems, I'm not going to meet on any given day, but I may say, I'm going to wait always 15 minutes to 20 minutes after a meeting. Bring your laptop. You and I sit down together. Let's work through the issues until you understand exactly how to sign up for roles and exactly how to progress through the projects. And so people feel supported, and we're able to do that. And it's not too much of a burden for any one person.
Yeah. And within the meeting, I want to add something. Great point Chris made, and that made me realize. So one is the experience from showing interest in the club and becoming member and then going through the pathways. But there is another aspect that clicks really well, because remember, when people are coming here, they have some things they are working on. They are not comfortable talking in front of others, standing up and talking. So they're stressed out a little bit. And one thing this club has done is it has become a combination of stand-up comedy club and Toastmasters clubs. I think Isaac starts with humorous opening, and that puts everyone at ease. So they are not stressed out anymore. Tom, stand-up comedian, he brings humor throughout the meeting. Whatever role, doesn't matter what role he's playing, he brings that. And I appreciate Chris for bringing that enthusiasm and positive energy into the club. I think that's what it is. And that's why we say when somebody joins on Zoom, I specifically put an email that to realize the full benefit and energy of the club, you need to be there in person. And that energy is there. And Parthe, for you, I would say, come one time to our club in person and see for yourself. I think this is the energy that at the very first meeting impressed me and attracted me to the club, and I'm still there.
Yeah,
and I think so are many members. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Isaac.
I was just gonna piggyback on that. My first Toastmasters experience was at a Chinese buffet in San Antonio, and I was early college, and I went in there, and I did not. It was not a good experience. I went in there. I had a table topic. They picked me to come up there, and I blanked out. It was terrible. I'm sure they were very supportive and everything. I'm sure they were great. I think I just blacked out. It was not a great experience. Nonetheless, comparing it to years later, now I'm in Los Gatos and walking into this club, I definitely feel the kind of family vibe. We're laughing, we're having fun. The location itself, I think, is underappreciated. It's great. Like, I don't know if it's like the colors, the orange or something. I don't know what it is, but it's just a great place to be. It's very positive, makes me want to come back. So all those little things that kind of hard to write down that give that positive vibe that makes me want to come back. That's what I felt.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And I heard some words about culture and fit and positive vibe. And so I think to have a successful club, people need to not just come there for growth, but they need to have fun. They need to enjoy it. So Tom, you mentioned about stand-up comedy. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how that fits into the Toastmasters meeting, and talk a little bit about the culture, and Natalie as well. Talk a little bit about the culture that you create at the club that makes it so fun for members to come back.
Yeah, so I'm humorous by nature. I can't help myself, and most of the club members would agree with that. It's hard for me to get up to the podium and not add a little twist of humor here and there when I see the opportunity, particularly when I'm Toastmaster. That's my favorite role, is be the meeting Toastmaster, and then I can really let it fly. So it just comes naturally to me. But as they mentioned, I think it was VJ that mentioned, was, helps to relax the audience, particularly guests who are, like Isaac mentioned and VJ mentioned, they may be coming in a little bit of stress. These are all strangers. They're a little nervous. I know I was at my very first meeting, so hopefully it puts them at ease. Now, I would add, though, we have a lot of fun in our meetings, and guests see that right away. And it's a very social group, family-like. But what guests will also see when they come to our meetings is that not only is it fun, but it's well organized. We pass out our agenda, we print out our agenda every meeting, we pass it out to guests and members. So you're sitting there in your chair, looking in front of you, you have the entire meeting agenda in front of you. And the task of the Toastmaster is to follow that agenda. So, yes, we have a lot of fun, but there's structure to it. And I think that's meaningful to guests, that they see that, there's some formalities involved here, and it's just not a free for all. And it provides them with a framework where they can grow and yet have fun at the same time. So I think that's part of it's a balance of having the fun, but having the structure. And I think it really works well for our club.
I want to add on what Tom said about humor part. It usually takes two for tango. So when Tom makes jokes, there is an audience, there are fans that are waiting for those jokes and cheering on Tom and other people who also try and use humor in this way during their roles. So there is definitely a very positive feedback from everyone in the club, from the members that already know Tom and know other members, to how the meetings run, and that it is okay, and even more than okay, it is encouraged to use humor to lighten things up. So that works really well when everyone is on the same page and everyone feels very relaxed and very positive about all the meeting and all the atmosphere there. And one more thing that I wanted to add is how we treat guests and members before and after the meeting. Usually, we definitely we do welcome guests during the meeting when the meeting started, but when we see guests that arrive a little bit earlier, we make it a point to talk with them, to have a little small talk, ask their name, ask all kind of details to make them feel more comfortable. Also, we try to do the same after the meeting ended to make sure that the guests have all their questions answered, to make sure that they know that they're welcome to come next time, and to have some kind of connection on a personal level, and to make them feel like they already know someone here at the club, and they will feel welcome to come next time.
Exactly. And I want to add a little bit to that, Natalie, amazing. So when members are coming to work on their public speaking or whatever, they are not just finding resources, but they are finding that they are cared for. As Natalie is saying, they are cared for, right? We are looking after them. But more than that, I think Isaac mentioned earlier that it feels like a family, and there is a reason for it. Tom is our host for holiday parties. He invites everyone with their spouses, come hang out, have fun. Then we have happy hours once a quarter. We go out as a group, happy hour. That's why it is a family. I think there are small traditions that we have that makes it a family.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. I love the term family. And that's why I think, and I see Henry as well. I think we've been in Toastmasters so long is because all of you and all of the people we meet become part of our family, and we look forward to. And I know during COVID, like that weekly meeting online was like that the bit of social activity that I absolutely needed, and looking forward to seeing everybody really made me continue to enjoy the Toastmaster experience. I want to ask you, you talked about, Chris, I think you mentioned celebrating and Natalie as well, but is there something the club does specifically to celebrate member achievements?
We've been getting even better at that recently. There's been a focus on that and a welcome focus. Like, for example, just who's winning table topics for the night. Now we have ribbons, thanks to Sonia, and she got a lot of other nice marketing collateral that we give to the person, take a picture with them, and we may or may not use it on social media. So that's always a fun little thing to celebrate. We also like to celebrate members that move from one level of pathways to the next level. We want to celebrate them. We want to cheer them on and applause them. Or if they finish a pathway, that's a big celebration. We want every member to understand that the goal is to finish a pathway. Finish 15 to 20 projects at your own pace. The goal is to finish a pathway. And by then, you're going to be leaps and bounds from where you were before. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel more confident, and you may fall in love with it. And you may want to do another pathway, right? I'm on my third pathway. Tom's done 45 to 50 speeches. I don't know, maybe more. He can correct me on the exact number, but
45.
We're not envious of people like that. We celebrate their success, and their successes are our collective wins. Another way we celebrate is we often, if we have more time, Natalie or Tom will ask, or the Toastmaster will ask, will several of you come up and talk about your wins? We're in Toastmasters. We're using it in our personal and professional life. Did you crush a speech at a wedding? Did you crush the speech being the officiant? Did you have a big meeting at work and you felt like you really did really well and you came off well to, those that you work with? Those are wins, right? Did you have some sort of celebration of a business being open for 20, 25 years and you were able to host 50 to 70 clients and patients and those that you support? And did you feel really good about it and comfortable? And they came up to you later and they said, wow, those are some really special words. So anytime there's a moment like that, we want to celebrate that with them. I know Natalie's doing a presentation to 800 plus tech professionals in Amsterdam, I believe, or somewhere that's not in the US for a big conference next week. She told us about it. And we're clapping her on because she did one last year that was very similar. But this year, even though it's a bit nerve-wracking, she feels even more prepared and ready to slay that dragon. And so that's a win. A win for one is a win for all. And that's how we think about it in our club.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Anyone else want to add anything?
I do actually. I remember, Chris, when the first time that I was actually able to, I was so excited because I thought I actually have a win. I got to speak at my in-laws' 50th anniversary, and I thought that was huge for me. That was huge. And I came back to the club, and I thought I actually have something that where I'm now applying, what I'm learning. So that was very exciting. But I also wanted to say, one of the things that Chris does that you had mentioned about uploading the videos, I think that is really such an important thing because I know that I have gone in to watch the videos, whether it was to see how someone else performed a role or how someone maybe did a speech or maybe when I went up to speak, what did it look like so that you can use that to actually learn. So I think that is just such a great thing that Chris does. And Tom, one thing that he does that hasn't been mentioned is he sends out emails on the day of the meeting where he'll mention that we have an opening in a role, okay, or maybe we need another speaker. And as a matter of fact, one of the times that he did that, I actually said, hey, can I speak? Because I was practicing my speech for this 50th anniversary. But it is because he has little reminders of, hey, here's this opening. And it gives people the time to think about like, wow, maybe I should do it. I think that's so important for the members. I know it has been for me.
Yeah, that's been a big thing for me in my experience. we definitely have this culture of nudging each other, that volunteering each other to do things, which in a very healthy way, and like we all need a push in life in one way or another. But what you were pointing out, Sonia, that affects me a lot actually. When Tom puts out the signal, oh, we need a role filled, who's going to take it? I feel that gravitational pull to take that on. And so for the first time, I was a Toastmaster last week because of that. He we needed a Toastmaster, and I just let's do it. So I think that culture piece is very strong. Definitely pushes all of us to pick up roles and to speak more and be more engaging. So it's really
And
great.
recently, I think nudging is one thing. Recently, Tom and Chris, they started pairing up. And if nudging is not working, they play good cop, bad cop to get people.
Well,
Yeah.
we use Trello, and we're able to say, and Tom's really good about organizing each card on Trello, which is a platform that each kind of list is a date of a meeting, and so we usually go out 6 to 8 meetings at a time, and individuals can um, basically just sign up for stuff ahead of time. I encourage those to do at least one speech a month, so they don't feel like they're doing it and only having a little bit of time in 1 to 2 weeks, but give yourself 3 to 4 weeks, do it the right way, do the proper preparation. Of course, we're going to procrastinate to a certain extent, but it's on the books. Natalie has talked about this in the past. It's better to not just prepare, and then maybe say I'm ready to do it. That'll take 6 to 8 weeks. It's better to say, this is the date I'm doing a speech. But do you want to be rusty and do you want to just show up every 4 weeks? Or do you want to say, this is my speech date, but every other meeting going back from there, pick another role that now with the new pathways is speeches and roles. So on the other ones, I'll do all count or some sort of filler position because it's always helping me. It's helping me to make progress in the pathway regardless. So I really appreciate that new aspect of the redesigned Toastmasters pathway journey.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're almost at time. I just want to check if anyone in the audience has a question they would like to ask. Okay, if not, so why don't we just 30 seconds quickly, every one of you get a quick chance to speak, just, summarize, wrap it up, and invite our guests to come and visit your club.
Yeah, I'll throw in my hat in the ring first because you mentioned Henry. Henry Miller's in the house. Now, Henry is one of our newest members. And as we know, Henry, four-time distinguished Toastmaster, Henry's been to a few clubs in his Toastmasters lifetime. But he recently decided to join our club. So I'd like to sort of turn the camera on Henry for a moment and ask Henry, what did you see in our club that motivated you to finally take the leap and join our club? You came as a member many times and practiced speeches, but what is it about our club that stands out for you, maybe from some of the other clubs that you've been a part of?
Yes, as I listened to this meeting, I remembered when I first encountered Los Gatos Toastmasters. Must have been about 10 years ago when I was preparing, and you guys were on, where was that place? On at the old building, before you went to this building. And well, recently I've been involved with Tom on his humorous journey at another club called Ha Ha Ha, Humorous Toastmasters. And I got an invitation to visit again and again and again until I decided, okay, I will have to give up one club to join this club. And here I am today, a member of Los Gatos Toastmasters. And I must say, this club they're doing things that I envisage would take clubs like Los Gatos Toastmasters to the next level, which I think is so important. The quality of the meetings are excellent. The people, you feel invited and welcomed. And I see big things for this Toastmasters club. I've been involved with Toastmasters. This is my 30th year. and I really enjoy seeing clubs progress. And as a member of this club, I will do whatever I can to help that anyone in that club continue their journey along with them. Thanks again for asking my opinion.
Yeah, Henry.
Thanks, Henry.
Thanks, Henry. And I know that I'm sure the club is so lucky to have you as a member. Anyone want to add anything else for a few seconds? Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
I just want to thank for the opportunity. I think it's great to share knowledge and to share everything with not only this club, but with other clubs and other club officers. So thank you, Partiv, for this opportunity for arranging this. It was a great meeting.
And I'll just add too quickly that, I mean, just like public speaking is a skill, there's like an art to it, then there's the mechanics of it. So is running a nice club and a great club. Like first and foremost, we just want to build a place that we would all want to be, right? And we're comfortable and we're appreciated and we cheer on others. We also all remind everyone that we're with a group of professionals, you know, whether we're engineers or attorneys or financial planners or business owners, like, or some people are retired, but they're board of director members, right, of a board of a nonprofit and things of that nature. So you're in good company. It's a social club, but we're here to actually work and we're here to support each other to get to the next level and whatever our ambitions are. And I think Natalie and other members reminded us at our last meeting, let's always go back to the why. Why were they interested? Why did they come to their first meeting or their second or their third? Why did they become a member? And that why will drive years and years of engagement and growth in the future. And then we have to celebrate those momentous step ups in their confidence, in their comfort, in what they're doing with this superpower, this ability that not just superhumans can have, anyone can have it. So anyone can have a great club. And also know that just because you may have some members that don't sign up again or they don't renew, that's okay. Maybe it wasn't the right time for them. Maybe it wasn't the right fit. But it is important to have new members come in, and eventually your core of super solid members is going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And just like it's going to create that gravitational pull that we all talked about, and it's going to pull in more that are interested, keep up the energy, keep up the enthusiasm. And we're all on this journey together. Everyone wants to be better, a better speaker for some reason, one or the other. And everyone is afraid of public speaking, right up there with not being around on this earth anymore, right? We know that. And it's totally irrational. But once we conquer that and we can lean into these speaking moments, it is incredibly empowering.
Great, thank you all. I appreciate all of your participation. And to your point, Natalie, we're actually grateful to all of you because Los Gatos Toastmasters is a standard bearer for a successful club, right? Not only are you successful in terms of hitting the DCP goals, being presidents distinguished, but also having an engaging meeting that consistently brings members who are here to learn and to grow and to have fun. And a club that has 45 members is definitely a success in our district. So thank you to Los Gatos Toastmasters. Thank you, Natalie, Tom, Vijay, Chris, Sonia, and Isaac. And also to all of our guests and members who attended. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do check out Los Gatos Toastmasters Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 7:45. And I think you can become the 45th or 46th member of their club. All right. Well, thank you all. Have a great night. Bye.
One quick question.
Thank you, Parvi.
Quick question before you close, Parthi.
Yes, please.
Are you doing this for other clubs also in the district? Struggling clubs.
Yeah, it's something we can. Yeah, why don't we chat offline and we can talk more. Yeah. Sorry, did you have something?
Yep.
Okay.
All I wanted to do was just say thank you.
Oh, thank you for joining, Jim. Appreciate you
Have a
having
great
me.
night.
Thank you.
Yep, you too. Good night.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.